Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about what your children wished you knew about their mental health, and maybe a few things that they wish that we didn't tell you about what they're going through, especially in this day and age with all the social media and cyberbullying and everything. We'll get into that when this radio show starts. I'll go back. We're starting. Hi, Ed. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about what your children wished you knew about their mental health. So many topics, so many questions that parents have. And as a mother myself, you kind of wonder, are we messing our children up? Like, what are we doing? But I mean, every parent kind of questions that every now and then. What are we doing? And are we doing enough? And is what we're doing going to have a long-term negative effect on them? Like, are we a bad parent, or are we not helping them enough? And with me is Kirk Miller, a good friend of mine and a host from before. I'll give a thorough bio with him in a second. But hi, Ed. Say hi to Ed at Tan Talk Radio.
Oh, glad you guys could make it.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened? You guys were late. You guys were talking when the intro finished.
Oh, wow.
You guys were having a chat.
It's just like an ongoing joke. I can never get it right on time with Ed. Either he starts and forgets to hit a button, or I'm late, or he's, I don't know. It doesn't come. It's never like a set thing where we're like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and action. It's just kind of like I have him on here, and then I unmute him, and then it just pops on. Like, it's just,
But
I just have to roll with it.
It starts at exactly 7 after. So if you have a clock,
Since when did I lose a minute of airtime? I thought it was 6 after.
it's always been 7. Actually moved it to 7 because you needed the extra extra minute.
That's more like
You
it.
did. You needed the extra minute.
Well, the first
So-
6 minutes at the top of the hour, that's just we have all those great intros for the virtuals. Don't throw this at me yet. I will come back with you with claws and talons. And where's my happy Thursday?
Happy Thursday, everyone.
Your infamous line. Hi, let's say hi to Ed behind the glass of Tan Talk Radio. Hi, Ed.
Happy Thursday to everyone.
No, but you're never that enthusiastic.
I love that. That's good.
And how are you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
Usually you give them a synopsis about the weather, but it's okay.
Well, listen, if you live where we live, here it is. This is good till October. It's going to be 90 degrees today. There is a 50% chance of rain, an overnight low of 78 to 80 degrees. That is good until at least October, unless we get hit with a tropical storm or anything like that.
And that is why I should have been a meteorologist.
Tell me I'm right that around 5, 6 o'clock every day.
No. You can have a job.
Walls start shaking, rain.
It could be this, but if not, you can't really predict the weather. And we might have a tropical storm. I mean, it might miss us. It might.
So you're way too wishy-washy. I would turn you off a few minutes ago.
But my job is to always be accurate.
Right to the point. That's it.
I have to be accurate as a therapist, licensed therapist. I'm always accurate. Meteorologist has a good excuse.
Sure, let's go with that.
You would have been great. You just basically showed better skills at meteorology than I did.
See, at least Kirk's got more interesting weather. I mean, he could be shoveling snow one day and setting up the pool in the backyard the next day.
Exactly.
All right, anyway, we're small talking and we're
Let's go.
Today, what we're talking about is and Ed, tomorrow you're going to pay attention as well. We got Ryan Matthews, the canine mentalist, the celebrity canine dog whisperer, basically.
Gotcha.
So you want to tune in because I know you're a dog lover as well as me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I know you don't have children, but this is something that relates to your dogs too. I'm just saying.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be a good trade.
Okay, so gotta love showing up right on the nigga, right there. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's meet Ed and bam, wait, we're live. I love it. Okay, so anyway, what we are talking about today. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor, and your host. And we are not talking about the weather today. We're talking about what your kids wish you knew about their mental health. My guest today is Kirk Patrick Miller. He's been with me for years, off and on, and co-host from Beyond Clarity, and award-winning author of a couple books, as well as one on the way on this topic, and gave his mother hell growing up. So not only is he a child of experience, excuse me, but he is also living with several mental health diagnoses and pretty much knows what it's like to be the child of one, and also doing studies with me on how to help your children, what your children wish that they knew, that you didn't know, or that you could understand about their mental health. And these days, there's cyberbullying, there's video games where people can talk to one another. There's video games where everything is so accessible for people to learn such awful things as well as good things, but bad things too. And so welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Kirk Patrick Miller. Thanks for being here. And and the pollen and everything. My allergies.
Oh no. It's honestly, this is such a wonderful topic. And you know, since the main demographic I work with is parents and children, you know, it's something that, you know, hits close to home, not from just a personal standpoint, in my struggles growing up, but also because of all the little ones that I have the pleasure of working with. and just, seeing the day-to-day struggles they go through. So, especially watching them go from like 5 years old, through college. You see so many different phases, and it's tough to be a parent. My sister's a parent of two little ones, and not so little anymore. They're growing fast, but it's a different world too. So, I know for a lot of parents, they're just trying to figure out like even how to deal with some of the things they're facing. You mentioned electronics. It's a completely different age. When we were growing up, there's one phone line for everybody to share. So there's so many changes, and a lot. It's a great topic, so I'm excited to be here.
And did we lose you? I hit a button and I think I disconnected everything. I don't know. Did anybody?
It's okay. If it's one of those days, this is a perfect example. So you got to push through when
Can you still hear us?
Sit back. You? Yeah, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Ed.
Oh, did we lose Ed? we were late and we lost Ed. Oh, wow. Okay, so
unless he's away from the radio. But
first thing to teach your children, mistakes are not a bad thing. They're data, they're information. So take today's show as like a perfect example.
Just keep going on this, and he'll come back on in a second, or he's away from the radio. Anyway.
Well, I do want to bring up, I know it's really hard. You brought up electronics and, things that children can learn, online,
oh my gosh,
dialogue. And it's so hard to even monitor or even understand the amount of information they have access to. And I know for, my sister, depending on the system they're using, who's talking to them, you don't have no way to even verify if they're talking to someone that actually claims to be 12 years old, or if they're 25. So there's all of these really strange issues that, parents have to deal with. And that's just the beginning part. So that's just on electronics. When it comes to mental health, that's a completely different ball game. And one of the things that I'd love to jump on is anxiety. Because, a lot of times people don't understand how debilitating and challenging, if you have really intense generalized anxiety, it's a challenge to go to school, to face a different teacher. I remember for me, every single school year, I was terrified for pretty much the last month of summer, because I was worried about, where the classroom was going to be, who the teacher was going to be, where I was going to sit. I mean, they were, silly things to worry about. But that didn't stop it from literally, putting me kind of in a, at times, even a catatonic state where I couldn't even talk. I was so upset. So kids oftentimes seem really resilient, but, and they are. Kids are way stronger and way smarter. I don't even like the word kids. I think young adults are way more intelligent than we ever give them credit for. And yes, oftentimes they just need some help and guidance,
Okay, so let's go back to that topic, because they one thing at a time. But yes, if we ever break an electronic or whatever, give it to the youngest one in your house, like the 2 or 3 year old. They'll figure out what's wrong. As for the electronics, the video games, and what our kids are being exposed to, so I'll put myself out there honestly. But so I'm one of those moms that I like to play with them, sometimes, whether it's Fortnite or Roblox or whatever. And then I start playing on my own because I get kind of hooked into it. So it starts off with good intentions, like, oh, I want to play with my 10-year-old on this one game or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not royalty yet. I need to keep doing this, whatever. And I make some friends on there, and I'm like, I got to let you know I'm an adult. I'm one of those healthy adults that tells kids, or like, at least, by the way, or not ask personal questions or whatever. Yeah. But I can tell you, even yesterday, these other kids or other people, they are so toxic. Like, these rooms, they get competitive, and when they lose, they get nasty. and what our children are being exposed to, where I'm like, I go, how could you say that to somebody else? Like your father, your mom probably left you. You're an orphan, or you're abandoned, or your parents don't like you, or whatever. And so I flip it on these toxic people. Like when you don't have a toxic competitive room, it's like this one game. It's kind of like, I'm not going to promote a game anyway. So I'm like, why would you say that to someone unless you're going through something like that yourself? There's me being the mental health therapist. I'm like, I'm so sorry for whatever you're going through. And they're like, shut up. They do try to censor it out with hashtags, but of course I'm like, I'm so sad for you for having to go through that. I feel bad for you, the things you must have been exposed to have to even say that. Like when you lose a video game, like usually you're like, you suck, whatever. Not you're motherless. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on with these kids? Like, or go kill yourself, die. Like they say stuff like that. Like, and like
It's
this
really
is
harsh.
what my 10-year-old is being exposed to. Like,
Yeah. Or body shaming. There's all sorts of things.
oh
And
yeah.
a lot of
Oh my
times,
God.
even though they
I'm
can't
this
see
little
you,
avatar with a ponytail with little tennis shoes and jumps and whatever. And they're like, you cow, you fat, whatever. And like it gets hashtagged out. And I'm like, you don't know what I look like in real life. This is just a cute little.
Exactly. Well, and even though they don't know what someone might look like, a lot of times they hit a nerve. And
They're trying, or they're
yeah,
fat themselves and they're projecting it, or feeling
projecting.
overweight, or like, that's what I think. I think all of those insults that come out are their insecurities that they project onto other people. So I feel bad when they say something like that. I'm just like, how could you? And
Yeah.
then like I've gotten like, when I'm playing the game, I'm not sitting there going, I'm an adult therapist playing a Roblox game. Roblox is a game for kids. Like it's made for little kids. And like one of them's just a building one, you build a little island and farm carrots. Like
I'm
just like,
familiar with it, and I know, my goodness, both of my nieces and a lot of my students will play that game and talk about it. You can spend a lot of money on that game. One of the things that
if you want, like
yeah,
Brian's from YouTube,
it's definitely a money maker.
They're very nice or very toxic.
Well,
It's so true.
When I have
You
my
know,
when I give suggestions to little ones when they're playing, a lot of times, I think the best way to prepare children for that environment, because they're going to face it online, whether it's now when they're younger or when they're much older. So one of the things that I think is so important and vital to focus on for children is to build them up in the right way. So, again, focusing on kind of, listen, as long as you are happy on the inside, the outer shell doesn't really matter that much from a body health, image or a body image issue. Making sure they feel, confident with the person that they are. And, I even tell, my nieces, don't use names in terms of when they're talking about somebody else. So outside of the video game area or electronics.
exactly. Not even just about that. And I was just hitting on that because it's summer and a lot of more video games. I'm doing a lot of more teen groups and mental health for my private practice. However, these children are being exposed, whether it's to a lot of stuff. And you know how it must be affecting them and their self-esteem. Because, I'm an adult and sometimes I hang up like, gosh, that was like a really toxic room, like where people were just rude or like whatever. And when it's a nice like room game, you're competing against complete strangers, like you said, could be trolls from 50 something years old to really abused kids reaching out for help and how the other kids are responding to them. And so, but the way it must impact them. So like my 10-year-old, he likes to play this football game and he's like, we're like turning off the topic, like the chat, because it's having a lot of negative effects. All of a sudden he's like upset because they're talking smack, basically. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it, but a lot of abused kids miserable people like misery. Like misery loves company, and they'll project that stuff onto that. And it's and it's the way that they feel about themselves most often. And so those are things that we need to pay attention to. Those game creators should know, instead of just censoring people, it should be a little red flag like that says, hey, maybe we should like contact your parent.
Reach out, send a thoughtful message, or maybe even to have a toll-free number, because we have, suicide hotlines. It'd be so nice if they had a hotline, just so, they see a comment like that that's really super aggressive, and they just shoot off a number and say, hey, listen, this is, something I would really, why don't you try calling this number? Speak to these people. There needs to be more access. And, there's really not a way to monitor some of these things either. Like even with the Kindle, my nieces figured out a way. We had like parental controls, and if you just tap I probably shouldn't say how to do it. But regardless, they found a way to just literally start the Kindle up without parental controls. So the intelligent young ones are going to find workarounds. So one thing I always liked that my mom did for me is both my mom and dad actually were more focused on me understanding the truth, and that I didn't have to hide anything. Mm-hmm. So like movies and everything else, they didn't restrict. What they wanted was for me to feel comfortable coming to them and asking any question about any subject, which is not easy. And there's certainly subjects that I didn't feel comfortable going to my parents to talk about. But they started so early, it was kind of instilled in me to like, listen, if I don't understand what's happening here, I can go talk to somebody and ask them, like, how should I handle this? So a lot of times it's just a matter of, at least for me, I always try to teach people to be patient. Mm-hmm. And don't just fly off the cuff. Think about your actions. Everything is recorded now. Everything will last. All it takes is a screenshot to ruin a whole bunch of friendships. Yeah. So,
it's time for our break, Kirk. And I think Ed wanted to say something really quick before we went to break.
Let's do it after the break.
After the break. Okay. All right. We're going to go to break, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Warner.
Hello and welcome back to Moments of Clarity. My name is Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're talking about what your children wish you knew about their mental health. And we're kind of going on a tangent. We're going to probably do this like another segment, but a series, maybe 4 to 8 part coming up in maybe the beginning of May over the summer. I don't know. Just throwing that out there without asking Kirk. But so
It'll be awesome.
Welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, Kirk Patrick Miller, award-winning author, lifetime experience of giving his mom a living hell of a time and growing up.
I definitely know the tricks. So, and the poor things parents go through.
So our topic today is what your children wish you knew about their mental health. And before we went to a break, so we're talking about how video games and all that stuff has affected them and how there's a lot of toxic people that project and say things online that could impact what they're going through. But not only that, how our children are perceiving it. And Ed wanted to say something before the break. He's all in the background with the private chat. Ed from Tan Talk Radio. Like, I don't like that. And what I'm like, don't chime in.
Such a good topic.
Well, yeah, I mean, that chat feature, as you duly noted, I don't have kids, but I have been around kids that have been on the video games, young and older. I've seen them on the chat thing, and as you said, you don't know who they're talking to,
right,
what they're talking about. Isn't there a feature where you can shut that off? I mean, listen, hold on. If you're going to monitor their social media, why not do the game too? I mean, you don't know who the heck they're talking to. I mean, you could be a 30-year-old man.
The first, 10 minutes, I'm telling you, I got hooked on it because I was doing the game with my son.
But I'm just saying, when the kids are by themselves.
Yeah, no, okay. We have the censors on. They try to censor a bunch, but then the other ones learned how to say what they want to say with the censor off. Like if they want to say ASS, it's like ACC, like where
okay,
you know what I mean? Like,
but my point to you, these people that they're talking to, their profiles, is 100% accurate that it's not some 30-year-old man they're talking to or whatever? No, I don't think it is.
If you say anything, what I've experienced from just this one child Roblox game, for instance. If you say the word age at all, that's hashtagged out. You can't say like your name. You can't type in what do you want your name to be, like your gaming name, like let's match it, whatever. You can't say how old are you, like that's all censored out, and then like everything's censored out. Like you can't. There's certain things like you're not allowed to ask for personal information at all. But there's ways to say like. One chat would be A, the letter A. Then the next one would be GG, and then the next one would be EEE. Like you can still say age. Like there's ways to go around it without typing in the word age. Or how old you are.
I just hope kids that are of that age, that parents are monitoring that, just like they would social media, and keep an eye on who they're actually talking to, and making sure that they understand this is a game. Okay, you're going to this game and lofting people's heads off. Okay, that's not real. That's not reality. We didn't have that when we were kids. We watched movies, but we didn't put a ski mask on and go murder people. We knew the difference between what was real and what was movies. I mean, even back then, they said the movies were too graphic.
The games that we play, like that I play with my younger son, are pretty much like little mini games like Survivor, like where you're last man standing or something like that. You have to play little mini obbies and find little advantages and get, then one gets eliminated or whatever. And whoever gets eliminated gets all bent out of shape, whatever. Or building an island and like harvesting carrots and building a farm and that kind of stuff. I've been earning money, like just those kind of things. Football, like I don't do the really Call of Duty or Halo or like those Grand Theft Auto. No. But even then, someone gets voted off this island. They're like, no. You're fatherless. You're an orphan. Your parents, but you're fat. You're this. Like, and it's like, dude, it's a game. It's literally called Outlast where one person survives. So, like, when you get voted off, you have to expect that you're going to get voted off most of the time. Like, you can't win every one of them, right?
Well, one of the big things is one with the technology. There's absolutely no way that anyone can censor everything. So one of the things, if somebody's really concerned about it, I would highly suggest, the Nintendo Switch. It's something where it doesn't have to be online. They can still play the game, and
you can be online on that. I have that too.
You can be online, but you don't have to be. A lot of the games now, like Roblox, you have to be online. There's the only option.
There's some where you can turn off the censor, because there's some people that don't respond in the chat, and then it's because they're on Xbox or that they don't have the chat. They're not allowed to talk back, which hurts them in the game because you need to build allies and stuff like that. So it's
exactly.
Kind of
so there's two things that I really want to mention. One of them is a lot of these people who are playing these games, that's literally their identity. So they're playing these games, and that's like if we had a profession and we kind of define ourselves through our profession. I know a lot of the little ones that I have dealt with in the past. I mean, they live by that game, like how they are doing, what they see that as their
reality.
Their reality. It's who they want to be. And so when they lose, it's not like they lost, something. It's like losing a job, or like,
like, why would you vote me out? What did I do?
And it's just like, so mature of a thought
process.
It's
just random. It's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or they held the team back from a team competition or whatever, or just whatever. The first
but
one
I agree with Ed too.
It's just like most of the time it's not even personal.
Just monitoring.
I like the comment when we intervene too much, the child feels caged.
Yes.
And this might have a negative effect on their mental health. No, it's called rules.
Okay, wait, let's go.
What if hold on. What if you're a parent, you just say, hey, listen, when you come home from school, 1 hour on the games, and you set the time. When the ding ding goes off, you go do your homework, and that's it. Period. Okay, they're 13, 14, 15. By the time they're 16, they should be looking for jobs.
And that happens too. But
and then they don't have time for games.
Okay, so let's get to the chat with some of these questions that our audience. But this is what I'm trying to get at, is because summer just started, so they aren't all able to work. Like, for instance,
right,
one's looking for a job, the other one's at summer camp, but it only lasts until like 3 or 4, or 12 at some camps, and then they play their games, or they go outside and play catch and stuff. But it's 90 degree, like you said, or monsooning, or raining. It depends. Okay, so IMJ Designs from India and YouTube. This is one reason I stayed away from online games as a kid.
Well, I couldn't get too. On YouTube says I couldn't get too interested in Pong when I was a kid, so that's all I had.
Well, when we were kids, the games were a little less interesting.
They didn't have online.
We had the most bullying I got was Nintendo, and it was Duck Hunt. And Nintendo came with a little gun, and the little you had to shoot the ducks or whatever. And when you missed, the dog would come up from the bushes and go and laugh at you, and you want to be die, dog, die. That was the most bullying in the games that we got, because the dog made fun of us for missing the ducks.
Well,
what happened to the Wii game? Is that still around? I mean, the good old days when all you had to worry about was the neighborhood kids coming over and destroying your house. At least you knew who they were.
Yes.
Wesley from YouTube said there's several parental controls. However, these kids are so hardwired and so advanced with technology that they figure out how to unlock, unfortunately, to turn off.
True. You can Google anything these days. Anything.
That's how you became
anything.
Engineer. Anyway, so Brian from YouTube says, well, the game tries to censor it, but there are ways around.
There's always going to be a way around. And I love one of the other.
You can't hold the game, the makers pot. You can't hold them responsible for the makers of the game. Everything is it's like you can.
No. I am following all of them on Twitter because I want the free codes. And
okay, well.
Okay, so I'm not gonna hold back here. You know, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna get the free stuff too, and whatever. But also, I have messaged them.
But you know what? When you're doing that together, it doesn't matter what you're doing together. At least you're doing something together. It's family time.
Okay,
Whether
it's
you're playing a game or watching a movie. What?
We do board games and we watch movies and we play this together. But then there's times I play without them now.
Limited screen
well, then we'll put a
time.
restriction on yours.
That was brought up actually. And I play like as a reward with clients sometimes, just to bond. But then I have to make sure that this stuff isn't being said. I think it's certain times a day too that the wolves come out too. Jason from YouTube says, I feel the best way to educate your child on these things. As a parent, you can't intervene every situation a child encounters. And then he continues, when we intervene too much, I think the child feels caged and this might negatively affect their mental health.
So there's a few things. Like one, I absolutely agree. There's no way, you know, if you're going to be a helicopter parent, it always backfires. And that's one of the problems that we have where, you know, parents aren't necessarily discussing some of the most important aspects with their children anymore. And I honestly feel some of this falls down on the parents to understand, again, you have to give responsibility to your children. Time frames are actually really vital.
Yeah, there's screen time. I'm going to welcome really quick, not to interrupt, but before I forget to say this too, call in to join the discussion. We're getting some great comments on chat, but you can call in live, 866-826-1340. 866-826-1340. And you see Ed right here. He's all cuddly, and he answers the phone. You can say hi to him. He's nice. Yep, his phone is right there. 866-826-1340. And say hi to Ed when you do. And ask him what's in that cup on his desk. Just kidding.
Water.
Well,
warm water.
There's something that you know, one thing is, I know parents are going to kind of wonder some suggestions on how to deal with this. So Ed brought up, you know, screen time and having a set time. What we do, and both of my nieces are homeschooled, and we did that beforehand for a multitude of reasons that we don't need to get into. But watching them be homeschooled and seeing, you know, them dive into these electronics, there are benefits to doing some of these things where you're chatting, because they are learning to speak to each other. But the hardest part, yes, and some people do better. Some people do better online, and even with typing, and that's been shown with different, you know, mental health, you know, conditions where they actually feel better by typing rather than speaking. So there are benefits
for those that have social anxiety and they would rather write it out. But that's also where I think that the cyberbullying, it comes out more, because you don't have to face tell someone something. It's an avatar where it's not your real name, and they can be mean and whatever. I mean, I got I don't know. My friend and I had bad words from someone dressed like SpongeBob and Squidward and Patrick, and they're like, "These kids don't know what they're talking about." I'm like, "Kids, you're the one dressed like Squidward and Patrick from SpongeBob."
Well, that's actually a really valid point. A lot of times, you know, the adults, we think that all of this cruelty that they're dealing with is something new. It's just a different form. There's always been bullying. There was bullying in school when I was growing up. It just was in your face. They weren't able to hide behind the screen.
Face to face, though, rather than
It's
behind
different.
a little tag name.
Yeah,
It's harder because it's easier for them to just like blah blah blah. Like, say it to my face. That's where that quote comes from. Say it to my face. If you have something to say it to my face. And people are like, I don't know, like they didn't want to.
I like the you know, again, being able to speak. Just sit down and take literally 15 minutes a day. Talk with your children. Let them know, like, okay, listen, this is not appropriate to say to anyone ever, because it's just cruel. There's no purpose to it. And guide your children on how to navigate that, because you know what, as we've seen over the last, you know, like 10 years or more, adults don't have their stuff together either. They're mean to each other. You hop on Twitter, you see people that are in their 50s and 60s, with the most childish
Revenues
insults.
that have been banned.
So there's still being, it's the aggression and cruelty and bullying is always there. Our responsibility as adults is to make sure that our young ones understand what those are and then how to, combat that. How are they supposed to, look and respond to a comment that really hurt them? Are they supposed to take it to heart? No. What somebody else says has nothing to do.
Doesn't have anything to do with them.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, exactly what I wanted to get into. It's not, and we're going to get into this, like, this is going to be maybe like
a multiple topic.
We're going to have to continue this on like a 4-part series again. Kirk will plan ahead like in a week or two. There's some already booked, but we always do this, Kirk. Like we get into a topic, like we're not done. The hour's
this
up.
Topic's a good one,
especially since I'm engaged in it, and then I have my friends on there that are like, when I say friends, gaming friends, but they're borderline children, adult, like kind of, I don't even know. And of course, I want to stick up for them, but in a mature way as well, because I don't want them going down feeling disappointed that they lost the game or that they got called this or this from some nobody, or like, not some nobody, but somebody that we don't know, like. Anyway, it's time for our second break, and a lot of the stuff that affects the child's self-esteem, and what you're saying is is right on point. And I have my bell actually, is teaching them self-esteem, self-confidence, and to be able to blow it off and not care what others say, because that's their problem that they're projecting onto the kids, not the other way around. And we raise them to not say something. We have a caller waiting on the line, but before we do, we're going to take our second break and stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Are you having trouble staying sober after you've completed rehab and need a positive environment to help you continue sobriety? At Real Recovery Sober Living, we strive in both community and environment for men in early sobriety to help support you while in early recovery. For only $750 a month, we cover everything you need when it comes to a safe, clean, and accountable environment necessary for success in sobriety. Check out our website at realrecoveryfl.com. That's realrecoveryfl.com. We have 6 locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Brandon, North Tampa, and Bradenton, because everyone deserves a quality, sober living.
Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Warner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you missed any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tam Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. Today, we're talking about what your children wish you knew about their mental health, delving into what is predominantly going on today, post-school, during school, what is going on with cyberbullying, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all these things that are impacting our children's minds. You can censor them all that you want, and there's still stuff like that. And even on Instagram, you can tell like some people like put themselves out there, these young beautiful girls in bikinis and all this stuff, and if they don't get a certain amount of likes, then they're like devastated, or who knows what they get response to that kind of thing, or how many likes or followers they have, yada yada yada. It's just never. And so we'll be talking about this again, I'm sure, but welcome back with me, my good friend Kirk Miller.
Oh, good.
Kirk, it's always wonderful having you on the show. And this is what we're going to talk about, and we could have a strict curriculum, and then we're like, guess we'll cover that next time.
Yeah,
It's not
we have all these bunch of, and we'll still answer questions that I received on social media too. So I'll still hop on there and answer those questions. So this is a deep topic, and so feel free to reach out, especially through her YouTube channel. Leave questions. We'll get to all of them.
Maybe we'll start it in July as well. Moments of Clarity, Tiffany's up for the People's Choice Podcast Awards again, and popular voting starts July 1st until July 31st. So
yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations! That's awesome. That's
I'm gonna be bugging and hoping that the listeners take the time just to click a few buttons. And
if you're listening,
vote. We can't vote yet until July 1st. So it doesn't. You just get a allotted amount of time, but you can't vote until then. I'll let you guys know when it gets closer. But we have a caller on the line, caller Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Kurt. Thank you, Tiffany, for having me on. And definitely this topic hits me because I am a mom of 3 boys, so it hits home. And I think especially my 15-year-old, he not only is into gaming, but he also likes to build computers. So it's sort of a catch-22. He's a musician. He loves anything with technology. So I nurture and groom all of my boys, just supporting them for what they really love to do. However, it's hard when they're 15. It's hard to set the parameters when I can't always be 24/7 just monitoring things. But then I back it up and I say to myself, there are apps that you can track your kids when they're driving. And I think that you need to just step back and say, all right, years ago when I used to drive and with my friends, there was definitely the fundamentals of the values, those core values of what my parents set with me. It was, hey, whenever you get to that destination, call us. Just check in. We want to make sure you're okay. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have the iPhone. iPhones and we're not around. So I think that if you have to monitor your children as teenagers, seeing where they're going, sometimes there's that line where you say, okay, am I going over that line? Because if they don't have those fundamentals at that age in their teens, then you really need to take a step back, reevaluate things. But it's really open lines of communication, because usually boys are a few words. They're not as expressive as I see as girls. Girls will just sit with you and tell you what they did and every blow by blow, what happened that day. So I find with me, I kind of think into what they're really into. We talk about their interests And then that kind of opens the door for them to communicate. So I'm always checking in with all of my sons, seeing how they're doing, and just setting those values at a very young age. And I was just grateful that I was able to be there. But helicoptering around, micromanaging, sometimes that does a disservice to a child. I just wanted to know, Kurt and Tiffany, what your thoughts are on that.
I absolutely 100% agree. So one of the things that honestly saved me in multiple occasions, and these were, when I say save, they were choices between things that probably would have landed me in jail or dead, and better decisions. A lot of what saved me was knowing that my family had faith in my ability to make the right decision. So there is a fine line absolutely between monitoring. To me, monitoring is it should be done early, and what you want to do, at least for me, and what helped was knowing they kind of guided me on how to see myself and how to separate that from how everyone else saw me. And then they gave me the pretty much, they said, listen, if you need something, call us. We are here. We believe in you to choose the right path, the honorable path. And I think once you believe in your children and they know it, and it has to be authentic 100%, when they see that, then all you need is that little second of thought for them to go, okay, I can do this. No, that's not the right thing. So, loving them first, building them up in terms of not, you don't want to build them up falsely, right? But, thank them for hard work. When they do something right, mention, hey, that was wonderful how you got home. You got your homework done first before you hopped on.
Right.
Your
Compliments
game,
are big, and compliment
Yeah.
with the description of what you're complimenting, not just good job. Good job doing the dishes. I love the way you did that without me having to ask. Good job putting your laundry away. That was really great. Thank you for cleaning the bathroom. Thank you for flushing the toilet without me having to ask.
You want
Just
to
stuff like that.
reward good behavior, and
Yeah, like flushing the toilet. Yeah. I mean, the little things count. But it's like, but with the description that we of what we're praising. We only have a few minutes left. Leslie, thank you for calling in. We have to
Leslie,
wrap
those were
up now.
fun. Yeah, great.
The hour
points.
went by. We're going to get to this topic again, and I'll let you guys know when I'm going to have Kirk back on. But Leslie, thanks for calling in. Have a great day, and thanks for your feedback.
Thanks, Leslie.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we have to wrap up now. Start
That
right
went
on
way too
time. We have to
fast.
end right on time. Anyway, Kirk, thanks. So maybe July 1st, we'll start a 4-part series on this and really delving into the child's mental health and what parents are doing and not doing, or what we can do to make sure we're doing the right thing. And thank you so much for being on Moments of Clarity today. It's always a pleasure, and we have to wrap up. Everyone, stay tuned. We're on 12 to 1 every Thursday and Friday, and going on 8 years. And please follow us on Instagram, MOC with Tiffany, pretty much everywhere. You can just look up the website, mocwithtiffany.com, and find all the links of where you can listen live or connect or follow and I usually follow back. So anyway, thanks so much, Ed, and thanks for the team and everyone watching and chiming in. And for those of you, I hope we didn't trick you out. There's always ways that you can monitor, talk to your kids, even if you say, how was your day? And their answer is always good. Delve in with open-ended questions, or sit down and ask them to go have a donut or something, do something. Be kind to yourself and to a stranger. You never know what they're going through. Thanks, Kirk, everyone, and see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow at 12.
Put in the time. Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so well alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.